Developing tonight, a domestic violence call in far north Bexar County turns dangerous when a suspect fires a gun during a confrontation with deputies. Investigators say deputies never fired a shot. Mike Jimenez spoke with Sheriff Javier Salazar and has the latest.
Sheriff Javier Salazar says the home where the shooting happened had a history of domestic violence calls, with deputies responding to 14 calls in the past year and a half.
This suspect in particular does have a violent criminal history, mostly assaultive type charges. And so this tonight seems to be by far the most serious offense.
Sheriff Salazar says Sunday night's domestic violence call involved a 56-year-old father who was assaulting his 30-year-old son on Rustic Brook near Highway 281.
When deputies arrived, they went to make contact with the suspect inside the residence. As soon as they entered, they were able to go hands-on with the father, who initially was not offering much resistance other than passively.
But Sheriff Salazar says things took a turn when deputies started to handcuff the father.
The suspect produced a weapon from his waistband, and the deputies were close enough to where they went hands-on with him, restrained the hand, although the weapon was still in it. The suspect was able to fire one shot.
According to Sheriff Salazar, the shot the suspect fired hit the floor before his gun jammed. Deputies were able to wrestle him to the floor and get the gun away from him without any more shots being fired.
Needless to say, this suspect is absolutely fortunate that these deputies were in a position to show a great deal of restraint, and there is no doubt in my mind that the actions of these deputies tonight saved the life of that suspect.
Sheriff Salazar says he is thankful deputies were not injured. The son who was assaulted did have injuries to his face, but was okay in walking around. A woman at the home who was a witness, according to Sheriff Salazar, had a medical episode and had to be treated by their mental health unit. With more than a dozen domestic violence calls at this home, Sheriff Salazar reminds people, if you find yourself in a violent relationship, get yourself out of that situation.
You never want to see anybody's marriage or relationship end, but unfortunately, once that violence starts to kick in, you got to get yourself out of that situation, or it's going to continue to escalate until somebody gets hurt or killed.
Tonight, the 56-year-old father is facing a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Sheriff Javier Salazar says the two deputies involved will be placed on administrative duty while they investigate the shooting per policy. Even though the deputies never fired a weapon, it's still considered an officer-involved shooting. Mike Jimenez, KINS 5.